So we'll just start in a comfortable seated position. It doesn't matter what that position is. It could be on a prop and sitting on a block with your legs crossed. It could be sitting in hero pose, so sitting on your heels. Whatever variation is going to work for you to get started is totally fine by me. And I don't know how the rest of you are feeling about the fact that we just found out that kids are not going back to school, but feeling like maybe we need a little grounding this evening. So we're going to move through a kind of a gentle flow, grounding, stay pretty close to the earth, and do some hips and low back work. So just starting by bringing your hands to your thighs. The palms can be up or down. And drawing the shoulders up by the ears, pressing the shoulders straight back so that the chest lifts just a little, and then you can allow the shoulders to relax down the back. Take a few breaths here, inhaling in through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Continuing to move with that breath, and as you take a few deep breaths, just slowly allowing the breath to move down in your body. So maybe the breath is hanging out in the chest or in the rib cage, allowing it to move down into the belly so that the belly expands as you inhale and the belly contracts as you exhale. And slowly starting to extend the exhale. So as you inhale, at your normal rate, your normal yoga rate, just allowing yourself to slowly settle the breath as you exhale. So just slowly allowing the breath to leak out either through the mouth or the nose. Pausing when you get to the bottom, draw the belly in, give yourself a little squeeze to get the rest of the air out. And then take a full inhale and expand down into the abdomen. And then exhale slowly and steadily, breathing out through the nose or the mouth. When you get to the bottom of what is your exhale, take a little squeeze in, hug in through the belly, wring out the lungs. Pause there. And then inhale, expand. Let's do one more round just like that. And then as you exhale, slowly, steadily breathing out through the nose or through the mouth. Give yourself a little squeeze, take a pause. And then release. I'm just starting to find just kind of staying with the rhythm. So staying with the rhythm, whatever the rate is for the inhale and the exhale. And taking a moment to notice the experience of the body right now. Maybe you notice sensations that you're experiencing. Maybe some comfort or discomfort. And then become aware of the feet. Maybe you just notice what's going on with your feet. Maybe you notice temperature. You notice mine are a little bit cold right now. Noticing how the feet connect to the earth, if they do at all. Where on the feet touches the earth? Where on the feet touches the air around them? Do you have on socks? Can you notice the subtlety of the material on the foot? And can you notice both feet at the exact same time? So both the right foot and the left foot. And when you're ready to do so, you can let the hands come down by your side. Whatever position you may be in, draw the right arm straight to the sky. As the right arms draw straight to the sky, let the left fingertips reach down towards the earth. And it might be an easy reach for you, it might be a stretch, that's okay. And then as you breathe into the right side, reach the right hand straight up. Let the left fingertips start to walk away as the right hand maybe comes towards the left just a little. Not collapsing down in, but really reaching out of the right side body. This is where the hips start, in the armpits. All the way down the side body. Take a few deep breaths here. Slowly coming back through center. The right hand can come down. The left arm reaches straight to the sky. As the left hand reaches straight to the sky, the right fingertips reach down. Get longer here, grow longer through the left side, and breathe into the left side of the ribcage, into the left side of the waist. Can you notice the sensations that the body is experiencing on this side? Can you continue to stay lifted and long through the right as the left side gets a little bit longer? Take one more breath. And slowly coming back through center. Place the hands on the knees. And we'll inhale as we lift the chest and find a little arch in the low back. So think cow pose. So we're tilting forward, the tail goes back, the belly comes forward, the chest lifts. And then as we exhale, coming in the other direction, rounding, the tail draws underneath. You might have to move on your seat, that's okay. Inhale, lift, and exhale, round. So just taking a few moments here as you move through. Think about lift, start from the tailbone. So inhale, anterior tilt, lift, belly comes forward, chest lifts up as if like you're zipping up the spine and creating space. And then exhale as you round, exactly the opposite. Inhale, lift. Squeeze the shoulder blades together here. Let's take a pause. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the chest a little bit more. Turn the muscles on the back of the body. And then as you round, draw the navel in and squeeze, hug, and bring the rib cage towards the pelvis like you're doing a crunch. Let's do 3 more like that. Inhale, lift, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest. Maybe the chin comes up, get long through the throat. And then exhale, rib cage towards the top of the pelvis, squeeze. Inhale, lift, get longer through the front of the throat. And exhale, round and squeeze in. 1 more, I lost count, sorry. Inhale, lift, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And exhale, hug in, pull in, and release. Let's come forward to all fours. If you're sitting on a prop, you can move it. We'll come onto our hands and knees and just starting to rock a little from side to side. So rocking from side to side, I'm actually moving my way outside of my right wrist, way outside of the left. And maybe letting the hips shift a little bit more too. Maybe even lift one knee and then the other one up. I'm just starting to feel the body's experience through the side, maybe into the outer hip. And we'll come back in the center here. I'm going to do a little bit of wrist work because why not? Most of us are working on computers. So middle fingers and pointer fingers come forward. So like between the peace fingers, point straight at the top of the mat. And then grip down into the fingertips. Keep the knuckles down and lift the heel of the hand without lifting the thumb. And then let the heel of the hand come down. So we're doing hand push-ups. So heel of the hand lifts up and then down. If it's a lot for you, you can shift the weight back and take some of the pressure out of the wrists, but try not to pop way up on the thumb. That's not what you're trying to do here. You want to feel this in the forearms. This is the area that gets, this is our grip strength. So if you hold on to weights, barbells, my lifting friends, these muscles might feel fine. Or you might be like, and I counter that by sitting at a desk and using a computer and a mouse, and so they might feel a little junky. And I'm just going as I'm talking, so let's do like 3 more. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's shift forward a little, or a lot. Get a little stretch in the back of the wrist. And then come off of the hands, make fists. So fists, and then open, and then fists, and then open. Behind where the camera is a window, and I'm looking out the window, and it's sunny, and it's snowing. And circle the wrists a little here. Let's bring the thumb and the pinky together. Let's take the thumb and the pinky together and squeeze them together. See if you can squeeze equally with the thumb and the pinky. The pinkies tend to be a little bit weak. See if you can squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Turn on the muscles in the fingers. Take 1 more breath. Spread the fingers out all the way, and then squeeze them in, make really tight fists. Cool, this time we're gonna come onto the mat. So we're gonna come to the back of the hand. So fingertips are gonna point in towards each other like this. Back of the hand comes down to the mat. Once you're there, you're gonna make a fist with your hands and then work to straighten your arms. So you can see I'm starting with bent arms. That's gonna be the same here. So I'm gonna come down, bent arms, make a fist. Pressing into the pointer side finger, I'm gonna start to straighten my arms as much as I can. But don't lose the fist. We have a tendency to be like, I can straighten my arms and let go of the fist. You wanna feel a little sensation here through the pointer finger and that line on the forearm. Take 1 more breath. And slowly releasing. Turn the fingertips out. Shift the weight over to the left. Maybe a lot, maybe a little. Not trying to press into the back of the hand or into the wrist so that you start to feel pain. If you start to feel that a little bit, maybe press down to the fingertips, see what happens. And then come over to the other side, same exact thing. Shift the weight in, fingertips are turned out to the side, pointing 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Right now I'm on the 3 o'clock side, I'm shifting the weight into my right hand. Fingertips are gripping the earth because that helps to just create a little bit of resiliency in the wrist. And then come back to center. And then give yourself a little, we call this traction. So take your like thumb and middle finger, wrap it around the wrist, give yourself a grab, and then just move the wrist around. Do one side and then the other. This helps with all this computery work stuff, but it also helps with too much time in down dog. All right, we'll come back to all fours. Speaking of down dog, let's press into the fingers, curl the toes under, press up and back. So let your dog be as short or as long as your body needs it to be right now. And then shift from side to side. Imagine that you're wagging your tail. Shift to the right and the left. We're getting really long through one side of the body and then the other. Coming back through center here, we'll look forward. I'm going to roll forward and find a plank pose. If this is too much on your wrists after the work we've done, come down onto your knees, but see if you can maintain plank. So the belly draws in, the tail draws under. We press and fill the upper back. And then knees come down and hips to heel child's pose. So you might stay right at this place where you're just kind of lifted a little bit more on your forearms. Maybe you let the forehead come down. On the next inhale, we'll come forward to all fours. Arch, just like we did seated. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest, curl the toes under. And this time as we press up and back, Just come to whatever your down dog position is. You're not staying here for very long, so it's totally fine. And then bend the knees and the hips back towards the heels. Look at the hands and roll forward to plank pose. Take a pause here. Draw the tail under, belly squeezes in. And then knees down, hips to heels, child's pose. We'll move through one more flow here, just like that. Moving with the breath, we'll inhale forward to all fours. Curl the toes, exhale up and back down dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank pose. Knees down as you exhale, child's pose. And each time you find yourself lower to the earth, or each time you find your hands coming to the earth, come back to the idea of being grounded and connected to the earth. The earth is there to support you. She's there consistently whenever you need her and even when you're not paying attention. Curl the toes under when you're ready to do so. We'll come to all fours and then up and back to down dog. Reach the right leg back towards the sky here. Kick the heel away, get long through the right side body, and then bend the knee, wrap the hip open. See what happens here if you press the outer knee to the sky a little bit more. Turn on the outer hip. Turn on the glute muscles. Maybe you add in the foot as well. And then inhale as you straighten and square. Exhale, hug the knee in and step the right foot to the right side of the mat. Doesn't matter where it is. Let the left knee come down here. Left hand stays on the mat. And right arm draws forward. And then we wrap open. So get long through the right side body. And then find a little twist here. Inhale, reach the right arm up. And exhale, circle it down to the ground. Take a pause here. Press into the hands. Lift the back knee. Belly pulls in and up. And since, you know, why not? Let's hop switch. Right knee comes down. Right hand stays on the mat. Left arm comes forward. If you don't have room, you can always bring your hand behind your head. Lengthen through the side body. The arm is just kind of like accessories. And still get long. And then draw the arm to the sky, or the elbow to the sky. Inhale, left arm reaches to the sky, open across the chest, and plant the hands. Pause again, press into the earth with the hands. Grip through the fingertips and press up onto the back foot, back knee lifts. Belly pulls in and up. We're gonna hop switch again. Let the left knee come down. This time, both hands come up onto the fingertips inside that front leg. Let the hips slide forward as you lift the chest. And then as you exhale, sorry, I didn't cue the inhale there, but slide the hips back. Let the right toes pop up and take a pause here. We're gonna add in a little engagement here. So inhale as you shift forward, press down into the front heel, and then isometrically, that means contract without moving, drag the back heel, back knee in towards the front heel until you feel the inner leg line turn on. You should feel the front and inner side of this back leg fired up right now. Hands can stay down. Inhale here. And then exhale as you slide back. You can let go of that dragging, but this time we're gonna take the front heel and press it down into the ground. And imagine that you're trying to drag it across the earth so that you turn on the back of the leg. So as if you're trying to kick your foot right into your butt, the right foot into your butt. Inhale as you come forward. This time, really no muscular engagement. Just let yourself hang out here. Let the hips slide forward. Maybe you add a little movement of the hips. So if I let my hips swing to the left, I get a little bit more outer left hip. If I let my hips swing a little to the right, I get a little bit more inner. Or you could just stay totally still here. I'll take one more breath. And then firing that press into the hands, pull the belly in and up, hop switch. Back knee comes down. Hands come down, just finding the structure of the pose here. Hands inside, both hands are lined up inside that front foot. Inhale here, and then as we exhale, slide the hips back, pop the toes, feeling the sensation in the back of the leg. Keep the knee bent if you need to. Inhale as we come forward. Let's find that engagement again. Press straight down into the front heel until you feel the underside of the front gluteal maximus turn on. And then take the back knee and drag it in towards the front heel without actually moving. So now the inner line of that back leg, front inner line is turned on. We'll take a few breaths here. Maybe even pulling in and up through the belly. Get a little abdominal workout happening. Inhale here. And then as we exhale, sliding back, hands come back. And again, kicking down into the heel, like you're trying to pull the foot in towards the butt, like you're trying to bend the knee and pull in, but without actually doing that. So you're pressing down into the earth, and the back of the leg turns on. Maybe the chest lifts a little bit more. You can send the booty back if you're looking for a little bit more sensation through the back of the leg. A little more anterior tilt will do that. A little J-lo. And then sliding back forward here. Hands come to the inside of the front foot. Kind of letting go of muscular engagement. The front knee might swing out a little. You can shift the hips to the right. A little twist there, see what happens. Shift it to the left, see what happens. And we'll press down into the hands here. And instead of hop switch, we'll step straight back to plank, and then bend the knees and up and back to down dog. So pedaling out here, send the left leg back to the sky. Bend the knee, wrap the hip open. So sometimes you wrap the hip open and the knee is way down. See if you can press the outer knee towards the sky. Press the outer foot towards the sky. Turn on that outer hip. See how it responds to your activations. Inhale, straighten and square. Exhale, hug the knee in, step the left foot forward. Take a pause here. This time, bring the right hand up and off the side of the mat. So my shoulder is in front of my foot. My hand is off the mat diagonally. Maybe my hair. Left hand to the knee. Pull the belly in and start to spin the belly button towards the inner left thigh. Take a moment here, press down to the front heel, pull in through the back knee. See what happens when you turn the muscles on a little. We'll slowly come back through center. Plant the hands down like plank position, lift the back knee, hop a switch. Back knee comes down. Left hand comes off, up and over off the side of the mat. Right hand comes to the knee. Pull the belly in and back, so round, just like you do in plank. And then start to spin the belly towards the inner right thigh. Maybe the right shoulder comes up and you open a little across the chest. We'll come back through center. Plant the hands. Lift the back knee, step back, down dog. We'll flow through here, so rolling forward to plank. Knees down, child's pose. Inhale, all fours, and exhale, down dog. From here, let's walk the hands back. So the feet are about a little wider than hip width distance. Let the knees soften, let the rib cage fall towards the thigh, the head releases towards the ground. We'll take a few breaths here. And we bend the knees a lot. Notice the connection, the soles of the feet to the earth. Do your hands reach the ground? Maybe they do. And if they do, what does it feel like for the hands in whatever way they're touching to be connected to the earth? On the next inhale, bring the hands to the shins, lengthen out. Flat back, belly draws in and up, look forward. And then exhale as you fold. Press down into the heels. And inhale as you rise all the way to stand. Let the hands come down by your sides. Palms turn forward. In this position, press down, straight down into the heels, and then pull the heels apart as you turn the outer hips on. Belly draws in, shoulders rise up, shoulders squeeze back, shoulders draw down. So the outer hip should be turned on, the belly should be pulling in. You find a little anterior tilt here to turn the low back muscles on. Shoulder blades are squeezing together, crown of the head is lifting to the sky. Center of the throat is pressing back. So maybe even hand comes behind you, behind the head, and you press back. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale as we fold forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, walk the hands out to down dog. Bend the knees a little or a lot. Reach the right leg back behind as you inhale. Hug the right knee in and take a pause. Think core here. Squeeze the knee in, squeeze the foot towards the butt. Press away with the hands. And then step the right foot to the right thumb. Take a look at the feet because you're down here. Make sure you're not standing on like a balance beam. Think more like train tracks right to left. And then press down into the front heel and rise up, hands to the front knee. Pull the belly in and up and reach the heel back. Let the shoulders round forward a little or a lot. Press down into the front heel here and then drag the feet isometrically towards each other. Turn the legs on till they start to get annoyed with you that you're, or me, that they're turned on. And then keep pressing into the front heel. Let the back knee like soften a little. Let the chest lift and open. Sweep the arms to the sky. Fold forward and plant the hands. Step back to plank. Knees down. Let's come all the way to the belly. Let the fingertips come off the side of the mat. Shoulders draw up by the ears. Shoulders hug straight towards the sky. Press down into the tops of the feet. And inhale as you find a little baby cobra. Turn the muscles on in the back. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together. Maybe even squeeze the elbows together. And then release. Let the hands come underneath the forehead. Just stack here, rest the forehead on the back of the hands, and take a few breaths. When you're ready to do so, the hands can come out by your side. Shoulders up, shoulders squeeze back. Tops of the feet press down. Inhale. Take a little baby cobra, maybe a little higher. And then slowly release back down. Stack the hands, take a break here, maybe even wiggle out the hips.
The hands come by your sides once again. Onto the fingertips, shoulders up by the ears, shoulders press back. Press into the tops of the feet, inhale. Get long through the front body. Feel the engagement on the back body, so not crunching here. And then releasing back down, hands just come underneath the shoulders. And take a breath or two. Where we're going next, when you're ready, is down dog. So if you would like the added challenge of pressing straight up to plank and then back to down dog, you can do so. We'll reach the left leg back behind, inhale. Exhale, hug the knee in, knee squeezes in, foot squeezes in, press the earth away, step the left foot forward. Again, make sure you're on the train tracks, not a balance beam. Press down through the front heel, rise up here, hands to the front thigh. As you press down into the front heel, drag the back foot in and pull the belly in and back, hollow out the front of the body. Keep pressing into the front heel, soften that back knee, let the arms open, let the chest open, let the gaze come to the sky. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale, hands come down. Step back, down dog. And then let the knees come down here and come all the way to seated. So we're gonna start with our feet wider than hip width distance. We're gonna draw the right foot across. So what we might do when we sit into a cross-legged position, and then we're gonna slide the left knee out. So knee and foot come together in front of the left hip. Foot can be turned so that the big toe side is pressing down, or if you'd like to be rolled to the top of the foot, you can. And then we're gonna walk the fingertips over in front of that right knee. So fingertips come down, chest lifts. So the weight is on the right leg. That means the left leg is back behind and there's not really any weight on it, which means we can lift it. So fingertips press down, chest lifts. Can you lift the back knee, the back foot, and hold for 3 breaths. That's 2. There's 3, bring it down. Lift up through the chest. See what happens, how that back hip feels. Now here's the fun part. Bring the left hand to the left ankle if you can do so. Lift through the chest and bring the right hand or fingertips to that right thigh. Now with a little resistance, can you lift the front knee? And can you get the foot to lift up as well? Can you press down into the leg? You might just be like, this is it. Maybe you can get your knee up, but your foot won't come up. See if you can get the muscles to engage and hold that leg up. And then maybe even resist a little bit more. You probably feel this in your side waist on the left, the hip flexor and inner groin on the right. And then release down. So you and I talk about those things. The time goes by quicker. And then we'll switch over to the second side. So this is mermaid pose. I don't teach it very often, but I do like to teach it in slow flow. So here we are. Any opportunity to engage muscles. So walk the fingertips towards the left knee, lift through the chest. So think a little bit of cobra back bend here. And then can you lift the right leg where it is in space? Not back behind, not out to the side, but where it already is on the mat. Can you lift it? One more breath. Release it down. Nice job. Take a moment. So sometimes those muscles, when we engage them, will cramp a little. That's okay. Take a moment here. Lift through the chest. Maybe the right hand will come to that right ankle, if that works for you. That just shifts the weight out of that front leg a little bit. And then bringing the hand to the inner knee, can you lift the left leg off the ground? Ooh, left leg's weaker. One more. And release, bring it down, nice job. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Lengthen through the spine here, lift, lift, lift. as we slowly start to fold forward. And seeing if while you're here, you can find a little bit of steadiness in the breath. Can you breathe back into the low abdomen? Can you get the belly to expand and then contract as you draw in? And lifting slowly back through the spine. We'll draw both legs straight out to the sides or sides-ish. We're going to do a couple of muscular activations here. So we'll start by taking our hands and bringing to the inside of the legs. And then with the hands on the inside of the legs, can you squeeze the legs together until you turn the inner leg line on? Do you need to keep the hands there to keep squeezing, or can you find engagement through that inner line with the hands not there? And if you can, maybe you lift through the spine and crawl the hands forward. If you don't, maybe you lift through the spine and see if you can find some sort of a fold variation like we just did in bound angle. Baddha Konasana, now we're in Upavishta Konasana. So inner leg line continues to be turned on. You might notice here, it's challenging to keep both legs turned on. And maybe letting go of that engagement. Can you fold a little bit more? And then because I like to play both sides of the body, the muscularly, we'll bring the hands to the outside of the thighs. So now coming towards the pinky, from the pinky side edge of the foot, can you press the legs back into the hands and resist with the hands until the outer leg line turns on? Can you lift through the chest here as well? And maybe you can take a fold. Maybe you'll notice one is easier for you than the other. Maybe they're both hard. Slowly lifting back through the spine here. Bring the legs together in front of us. Find the sits bones, maybe rock a little from side to side so you can find a little anterior tilt. Lift through the spine and take a fold over the legs. The feet can be touching, could be here. Thigh bones could be a little bit wider if that works better for your pelvis thigh bone relationship. And slowly lifting back through the spine here. We'll come back to the long way on our mat. I'm going to take a couple of different variations for the hips. The first one is a lizard. So right leg goes back, right leg comes forward and through. And bringing the back knee down here. So we're going to stay here for, not for too long, but for a handful of breaths. So if you need a little padding under the back knee, now's a great time to grab it. And then much like we did at the start of practice, I'm going to invite you to let your hips shift to one side or the other until you find the spot on you that you're like, oh yeah, that's what my body needs right now. And then we'll settle in and take a few breaths in this place. So I know a few is technically 3, but I like to think of a few as a lot more than that. So I'm just noticing while you're here, can you get longer through the torso? Can you find more space on the front of that left thigh bone? maybe even up into the lower abdomen, the hip flexors, the front of the pelvis. And then from here, pressing into the hands, lift the back knee. We're going to bring the right foot across. So we're going to find pigeon, but the right foot's just going to come straight across, or wherever, from wherever it was. But so the right foot comes towards the left side of the mat, lifting the back knee, wiggling the hips back. You might stay right here. You might decide you want a little extra quad stretch. You might decide you want a little fold forward, that's fine. We'll take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And the hands can come underneath the shoulders, pressing down, lifting the hips, coming back to down dog. Maybe just taking a breath or 2 here, especially for the left hip flexors. Maybe even just pulling that left knee into the chest a little bit. Even though my foot's still down, I turned on the hip flexor. Maybe pulling the foot in towards the butt. And then when you're ready, the left foot can step forward. Right knee can come down. So again, if you need a little extra padding, now's a good time to do so. And then shifting the hips a little to the left, a little to the right, finding that spot on your body. There's a whole host of lines through the hip flexors, the adductors, the abductors, the hip extensors. You have 360 degrees around the thigh bone. So just seeing what your body needs right now, exploring a little bit. And when you're ready to do so, the hands can come underneath the shoulders, lifting the back knee. Draw that left foot across, finding pigeon or your variation on pigeon on this side. So again, keeping the right heel reaching back, taking the variation. If you took a quad stretch on the other side and you want to on this side, that's fine. If you'd like to just take a fold forward, that's fine too. Slowly finding your way back through center, bring the hands down. Let's roll over onto that left hip. Let the legs swing around in front of us. We'll come all the way down onto our back. If you'd like to do a little core here, you can pull in, take your time, slowly rolling back. And finding your spot on your mat, wherever that may be. So let the shoulder blades squeeze towards each other just a little. Let the chest open. So imagine that you're doing a row, or you're grabbing weights in front of you and you're pulling them back. So your elbows press down and squeeze in, lift the chest just a little. Let the shoulder blades squeeze together, and then let the upper back come down. You might be like, this does not feel comfortable. That's okay. We're gonna stay here anyway. We'll release this soon. So as the elbows press down, the chest lifts. Walk the feet in towards the glutes. Toes pointing straight forward. So if you have a tendency to flare out, see if you can find on your own by just feeling what does it feel like to press through the big toe, through the inner heel, and can you start to find a little anterior tilt, a little J-lo, that little arch action, return on the muscles in the low back, and then you press down into the feet and let the hips lift, maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches, maybe 5 inches. Keep the muscles in the low back turned on. So you have a tendency to just want to tuck the tail and press as high as we can go here. I would rather have you keep the muscles that get strained and overstretched from sitting, which we're definitely all doing more of right now. I'd rather you keep those turned on and press into the heels, the inner heel, the big toe mound, and see if you can maintain both. Can you hug the core in? Can you turn on the glutes? And can you turn on the low back? And every time you press down and you notice the low back turning off a little, can you turn it back on? Can you send the butt back a little bit more? Can you keep squeezing the shoulder blades together and keep the front of the throat open? You think about creating a little bit more space in the front of the throat. And that might mean that you just simply start to allow the front of the throat to relax. So the back of the neck gets a little bit longer and the front of the neck gets a little bit longer. You might require the shoulder, collarbone relaxing down and away. There's lots of like internal work that happens here. Keep pressing through the inner foot to keep the glutes turned on, the low back muscles turned on. One more breath. And then slowly, carefully release the hips down to the ground. Let the feet walk out to about mat width distance. And let both knees drop over towards the left. Sorry, I don't know where from my left, it doesn't really matter. But drop the knees towards the left and see if you can breathe into the right side body. Rib cage, side waist, hip flexor, front of the thigh. You can let the right hip lift up a little bit. You can even press into the inner arch of that right foot so that it does lift up a little bit. This might turn on the quad. You might feel a little bit more stretch on the front of the right leg. And then slowly, once you're ready to do so, we'll come back through center. Again, the feet are at mat width distance, so let both knees drop in the other direction, which presumably is the right. And again, creating a little bit of space, breathing into the left side of the ribs, down to the side waist. The front of the pelvis gets a little bit of space. The outer hip gets a little bit more space. Maybe the front of the quad. And you might notice actually here that one side is much tighter than the other. Maybe press into that inner arch, the big toe, inner heel. Let the left hip lift up a little bit more. Create a little bit more of a sensational experience. I'll come back through center. Let the hip knees rock a little from side to side. If you would like to take an inversion, any sort of inversion is fine. But if you'd like to take a legs up the wall or a Viparita Karani variation, you can always bring a block or a pillow or something underneath your hips, or you can just stay laying on the ground. But what you do is draw the knees in, let the legs come up. This is a great strategy if you're having trouble sleeping, or if your legs are jammed up, or sometimes we sit in funny positions. But this also applies to like eventually when we can go back into the world and be walking and running and spending more time in gyms and stuff. This is a nice way to kind of rejuvenate the legs a little bit. Also has a really quieting effect on the mind. So can you notice while the legs are lifted, maybe they're supported by a piece of furniture or the wall at your house, but can you notice the body's relationship to gravity? Can you notice what it feels like to have the earth supporting your body? If you're in a position that you could stay in, like the legs are on a couch or an ottoman or on a wall, on a bed, you can certainly stay there for Shavasana. If they're not, you can draw the knees in towards the chest and let the feet release down. If you've got a block underneath you or something like that, you can let the hips remove it. Coming all the way down onto the ground. Taking any last minute poses that your body might need, maybe a happy baby, maybe a Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle. Maybe something else. It's the beauty of practice at home. You can pretty much do whatever suits you. And then once you're ready to, slowly finding your way onto your back for your Shavasana. Coming back to the breath. You make the exhale longer again, slowing it down. Can you draw your awareness to your feet, to your lower legs, to your upper legs, the back of your pelvis, to your abdomen, to your back, rib cage, back of the shoulders, both arms, the back of the head, the face, and the crown of the head. Gently letting go of the entire body as you breathe.
Begin to draw some awareness back to your breath. Deepening your inhalation and your exhalation. Drawing some awareness back to your body. Becoming aware of the body's connection to the earth. Any sensations that you may be experiencing, and then starting to add in some movements. In your time, moving as your body needs. Maybe taking a full body stretch and then eventually finding your way to a seated position. When you come to seat tonight, you can place your left hand over your heart, your right hand over your abdomen. In a world that is currently filled with lots of vibration, with lots of energy, may we be reminded that I am here now and I am safe. And allow that to be your affirmation or your mantra when the world gets to be a little bit too much. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.